So I guess I'm disconnected myself a couple times, so please forgive me. So I'm gonna start it all again. Where we go. We'll just start off with the chimes. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, up, down, and in the center. Is everything over here? Mhm. Oops, better. Hmm. Everything's all blue and shit. Yes, I'm back, man. I was sitting there tripping. I'm sitting there was just tripping. Please forgive me. It's kind of funny. Uh, but good morning, everyone. Sorry, last night. Things for some reason wanted me to just relax, so I just relaxed. Yeah, yeah. Good, good. Thank you. Welcome everyone. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show, and if you've never heard me talk before, or if you catch this later, um, I'm the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am also that one and only. I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, sitting here on my galactic patio. It goes from Minnesota to this universe. Welcome, Lorenzo. Welcome, Bob. Khan. Ken. Welcome. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Ooh, this is clear picture of the background. Oh, welcome everyone. Welcome, Stacy Ray. Thank you for joining me. This has been just a marvelous day. Just a marvelous day. Got up super early, rode downtown, watched two quarterfinal basketball games, and we saw the number one team in the state in this. I think it's 4A, and it's um, Brooklyn Park Center. And that team, man, that team was stacked. It was like everybody they brought in, their point guard was about 6'4.5". But like they brought everybody they brought in came in and played well. I mean, they played 7, 8 children, young men, excuse me, 7, 8 young men played really well. They played Andover. Andover, like Park Center and Andover are both more northern suburbs of the Twin Cities. So they are really close to each other. And they blew them out because Park Center must have had a dude who was all state because they showed he averaged 25 points a game. Now in the morning, well, I'll continue. So excellent team. Park Center, I would be surprised if Park Center didn't win it all, but it is Wayzata does have a good team, but Park Center, I've watched Wayzata play, and I think Park Center's better than Wayzata. Now, of course, my nephew played the next game, a team that they had beat twice. They played Lakeview East or Eastview. It would be Apple Valley. Actually, it would be Apple Valley Eastview. It's like Ty and Trey Jones, they're from Apple Valley. Um, Now, I'm trying to remember which school in Apple Valley they went to, but Eastview. So, and we had beat them before. They had a lot of big dudes, and just they beat us 72 to 68. Yeah, 72 to 68. Good game. I think we came out really cold. Uh, can't say the referees were horrible. Not really. I think a couple coaching mistakes. The star player on the Apple Valley Lakeview East team was a point guard that didn't start, and I forgot the last two times they played. This guy didn't start, but this guy came off the bench and had good games both times. Even though we beat him, he had good games. Now the other two games we outshot him. We clearly outshot him out the gym, 3-pointer wise. He made by himself. He made four. He was 4 for 4. He ended up with about 20. Now, I wish I would have. They didn't give out any programs. You had to download the programs and then print them off and bring them there with you. I didn't do all. I didn't know you had to do that. Was the only way. They didn't give out who everyone was. I probably have his program somewhere. But that young man had a heck of a game. And yeah, we lost a tight one. Nice packed gym. Not jam packed. So tomorrow they play for third place at one of the colleges. It's Hamlin College. And the other schools play Friday night. So the semifinal will be Friday night. Saturday, I think they turn around and play. Yeah, I think or it's Thursdays. The semifinals Thursday night, which I don't know if I'm going now. Lorenzo, the World Baseball Classic Championship game between USA and Japan. The match, say, previews who's going to be in this year's World Series. Yeah, I saw that was advertised. Oh, let me tell you, I was watching the funniest shit. If y'all ain't watched it. The funniest shit is that Elvis shit. Y'all watch that Elvis cartoons on Netflix? I don't know. Is that anime? What do you call that? Because that is some funny shit. Kind of goes to the bizarre a little bit, to the kind of, peeling back some layers. So kind of interesting. I remember what game I watched, the commentator mentioned how good basketball players are coming out of Minnesota. I thought about you when I heard that. Oh, yeah. I hadn't watched this Park Center team, and they was 8-9 deep of good players. I noticed they dressed a freshman. He didn't play, but they dressed a freshman, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if he dressed all year, but he didn't even play. So I didn't even know about these cats. And these cats could play. I was very impressed. I mean, the team they beat wasn't a bad team. They just put it on in the whole game. And I think even my nephew's team, I think nerves, playing up in the Target Center, I think the nerves really had a lot to do with it. And by the time they got it all figured out, it was kind of, foul trouble. They're playing a much bigger team. They had a couple dudes. They had two twins about 6'4". Then they had their big dude was about 6'5", and he got in foul trouble. But it was just, and this is, and when I give advice on. I try to be practical, especially with hooping advice. But one thing I was telling my nephew, and one thing you got to understand is just how you have to practice your game. Now, just because you play against guys all the time that you don't have to shoot over, you have to practice shooting high. And see, I watched a guy who, for the majority of the tournament, in the majority of the season, he didn't face a lot of dudes bigger than him. One dude blocked his shot 4 times. This cat didn't make any adjustments. One of his weak adjustments was when he lost his dribble, he tried to fade away, and dude blocked his shot. He blocked his shot he blocked his shot trying to fade away. Like layups. And, I always talk about when little girls play, one thing that all little girls do is little girls will shoot into somebody's hand. So if little girls just put the ball up, it's easy to block. This is something I've watched little girls do for a long time. It's just something little girls do. This is what he did. He literally shot it into this dude's hand. So I just thought this was quite for me, quite odd. It's just that he never made adjustments in his game. Khalid's son, Abo, well, I'm gonna say it. Elbow, Khalid. had a good game. He had missed a couple. He had hurt his ankle. He hit one NBA three. He shot a deep three and hit it. He hit a couple, but you could see just not playing a couple games. Nephew fouled out. He had 8 points, maybe 2 or 3 rebounds, a couple assists. Missed 2 layups, like missed the beginning of the game layup. Had it right by himself, and a couple guys did that, just open layups. So I don't know, nerves. So, but it was a great season. And that's what I was telling the family. I mean, to play in state, I don't even know if the feeling that they had winning the sectional could even be heightened. Of course, winning state is another feeling, but just to get the first step. So it was a great season for him. Not going tomorrow, not getting my butt up at 10 and drive over to St. Paul because Hammond University is in St. Paul, and I'm not driving to St. Paul to go watch it, buddy. So we'll find out how he does. I definitely might go to the game Thursday. I think it's Thursday because it's going to be some good basketball, and I love basketball, so I might go just for that. I was kind of bummed that the NBA store was closed. It's like, it was in there a lot of time. These mugs is in there remodeling. They are remodeling the place. They're remodeling. So I was like, wow. You got all these people coming in here that would probably buy your merchandise. Now, not just buy food, but would probably buy Timberwolf stuff. And they was remodeling. So the place was closed, but that was all right. That's how it goes sometimes. But it was cool being in there. I got to share some more pictures. Took some more pictures. Got to share those. Got to download them first. And looking at the different structures inside the gym, I took a lot of film inside the gym to see try to see the equipment of everything they do, especially when it comes to basket manipulation. I've been looking a lot more, trying to look at the ceiling. So I had super good seats. So I'm glad I convinced my fiance and her mother and her mother's friend to go early because we got in there. We were sitting like 7-8 rows back. We had excellent seats. And then the family ended up sitting around us. So we had great seats. So, but had a good time. Had a good time. Saw some good basketball. 2 good games. I wish I would have had the time to stay to see all 4 games. It really would have been worth it. Would have been a great treat, I think, to see all 4 teams, but just wasn't the way we were able to work it out. Wasn't able to work it out that way. So, and that's okay. So I might go back Thursday. I don't know. I get lazy. Don't want to do nothing. Oh, thank you, Doeyes. That's very kind of you. Thank you. That is really cool. So that was my day today, y'all. That's what I did today. And it's I get a lot of I guess recharging. Going somewhere like the Tiger Center recharges me. And as much as we talk about those places as being corrupt and the games being scripted. Oh, let me say this. Did anybody see the NCAA game yesterday when they went up to the coach and it was the beginning of the game? And oh my goodness, was it Xavier? No, it was the game Sunday. And he asked the coach, he said, what is the script? One of the announcers asked the coach, what is the script? So I don't know if anybody caught that, but anybody remember that? That's what one of the coaches asked. That's one of the reporters asked the coach. He said, what's the script today? So, but get back to what I was saying. It was just like when I go to the USA Bank or if I go to Target Field. It's the same. Even though they use it for corrupt reasons, that energy is still there. And it's just as they use the energy for a rally, or momentum. I try to use the energy to raise my awareness and my kundalini, and not just be selfish about it. It's like, shoot, I light up, I light everybody up, and that's not invasive. That's not invasive. That's spreading positive energy. So I get a charge off doing that. Oh, Lorenzo, since I got you, I wanted to show you this. And so how the NBA got the years. Let me show you this. And I've showed this before. This is just one of the old Globetrotter books, but they do have timelines in here, and this is the timeline they put right here. Check this out. So the original Globetrotters, the first time they really did it was 1927 when a black dude controlled it. And then the same year they changed it over to Abe Saperstein. However, it gives a timeline. It says 1930s they started doing tricks, but I said this before. The Basketball Association of America is founded in right here. The National Basketball League, the NBL, was founded in 1937. The NBL was founded in 1937. The BAA was founded in 1946. So is this where they're getting the 75 years right here? But actually, the other league was founded in 1937. You know, what was on Wikipedia, you know, was saying like it wasn't that mixed. You know, it was like they both happened simultaneously, and they didn't. And then they didn't join until the leagues didn't join until 1949. So that's when they really joined, was 1949. So I don't know if I shared that with you, Lorenzo. In my stone. Let's see. So yeah, I wanted to share that little bit of history with you. You know, I know we was debating that the other night. I wanted to share that little bit of history with you. And like it's real easy to study a little bit about everything, you know. And someone had asked me, you know, like how much information about the time walkers I can give out, and it's not really a lot, but what I can give out is another energy, and it's not just like this is the only source, but like a lot of this source is, you know, coming from this. And this is a pretty good eye-opening book. And just how these basic systems, it gives you just a basic understanding of some of the magic that we have here in the Americas. And that just a kind of a good intention can get you in touch with it. Because it's all about how you use it. What is your intention if you're able to tune in with this? This is something that's able to tune you. So, and he's written several others. So wanted to share that. Didn't have a whole lot to say about popular culture. Gosh, and just the chaos that goes around everyone. It's like, I guess there has to be some kind of solutions or something, or some kind of sane voice out there that wants everyone or suggest ways for everyone to cope. Remember, it used to be a TV show, I think it was, or maybe a movie, Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope. Because we've been through, you know, what we went through was not just a change in frequencies and vibrations. It was almost a shift on the way they tried to bring everything in. And so we as a people are really, I guess in some ways, all of us are healing from that shift. Be it natural or unnatural, however the shift came in here. You know, we are still in a healing phase. Because what they did was traumatize us in a massive way. I mean, it's interesting. I'm at the gym. You know, it wasn't packed. We got there so early that, you know, but it was a great crowd. It was at least 10. Like that place holds, I think max is 21, and I mean that's super max. But for the most part, 17, 18, and it was a good 10,000 people there. both bands was there. So, but my point was, there was still someone there with a mask on, and that's the insane reminder that insanity still exists. There are still people around that are still wounded. Almost like the ostrich. You keep keeping your head into the sand. And just what are your coping mechanisms or your survival of the fittest mechanisms? Or do you get caught up in the division? Because we all get caught up with ego and the division. We get to the ego pop up. Did anybody watch the thing on Netflix about porn and Pornhub? I thought that was kind of interesting. I've never been on Pornhub or OnlyFans. I didn't know that Pornhub owned OnlyFans. I didn't know that was the same thing. But it was interesting the way it's done, and the abuses and the way it's perceived. I thought that was kind of interesting. It's something I really, as I've said, I'm not really into porn, so I didn't know anything about it, but it was kind of an interesting documentary of the people that are still into that thing and the people that went through that, and the abuses, and the people that really made a market to watch abuse. I mean, people know, the black web just wasn't about Bitcoin and stuff. Remember, you could see them. You didn't even have to go to the dark web to see snuff films. And this wasn't even that long ago. I'd say like 7, 8. Wasn't that long ago. You could see snuff films all day. And as I've said, that is, as I mentioned before, just the way the porn industry, what it came from. It came from an idea of sexual freedom and everybody being able to find something that they can relate to, that they felt gave them a little sexual freedom or outside stimulation, and it turned into something monstrous, because there's so many different aspects and there's so many different hungers. Like right now, I'm just studying about how the major corporations have used this just raw information out there about our buying and our ways. And when you look at someone like Pornhub, and you look at the analytics and the way they are tracking people and seeing what type of, do you think they really have given all that up? You think they would really give up that type of tracking, where they are probably the epitome of the tracking of sexual desires in the world, and the kind of information that they have learned by being the biggest one that does that. This is the way they control this data that we don't even understand that we're giving them. We've given these companies, by just our just buying habits and patterns, we have given them so much data that they've turned into raw money, I guess is a way to say it. They have turned it into this just free energy out there. They have really turned it in a way to make money off this, in ways that most people don't even understand why we're being tracked. It has nothing to do with it has everything to do with economics and our spending patterns. I don't know. That's just what I got from it, Lorenzo. I think that's what it said. I think. You think Elvin Hayes' death will be because the Knicks go this far? You don't mean Elvin Hayes. You mean Willis Reed. Yeah. We were talking about the other day when I was on we were talking about a little bit of the Knicks. Ciova had brought up about the Knicks, and that Willis Reed dying could very well be a big indicator to help the Knicks. Willis Reed. Yeah, I've been seeing that all day. He went to Grambling. That was one of my jerseys that was stolen from me when I broke up with my ex. This was 5 or 6 years ago, like the McNabb jersey. And I've told the story of the McNabb jersey. I was out to the Mall of America and saw this McNabb jersey. It was $200, and I was like, nah, I ain't gonna get it. I was in a Unique is a thrift store. I was in that thrift store and I saw that jersey like maybe 7, 8 months later, and I had a stitched McNabb Eagles jersey. It was probably one of my best jerseys, and one of her people stole it from me. So, but yeah, I had a Willis Reed too. I had a Willis Reed jersey because 19, I love it. That was my college football number. So, 19 hoop jersey. I saw that somewhere. I couldn't wait to snatch that one up. But yeah, I had that too. He was another cat that probably wasn't, maybe 6'10", but if there was anybody's game I would compare him to, would be Charles Barkley. Yeah, that would probably be a very fair comparison. Charles Barkley, probably a taller Charles Barkley, taller, better touch, better shape, stronger. But Charles Barkley's game is the closest I could explain to you. Now, the game where, he's most known for when he got hurt and took a shot in the hip. And Bill Russell was absolutely right. Bill Russell said, I'd have bumped him. And Wilt Chamberlain doesn't do nothing. Wilt Chamberlain just lets him. Wilt Chamberlain plays the game 6 in LA. He scores 44 points on Dave DeBusschere and the rest of the Knicks. Game 7, Willis Reed was hurt. So they was playing 4-on-5. And all of a sudden, Jerry West gets picked by Walt Frazier 3 or 4 times. It was just ridiculous the way they scripted that game. Just the way they scripted that one. Might have to do away on that one. But the way he played, Willis Reed, again, he battled Wilt. He battled Bill Russell, Nate Thurman. I saw a thing on Nate Thurman that showed that Nate Thurman held his own against Wilt. They didn't play each other that much. Nate Thurman was a little younger. But in the games they played about 30 games against each other. Nate Thurman pretty much held his own. But Willis Reed at maybe 6'10". I don't know if he was even that big, but held his own against all of them. And that's back when, against other dominant centers, blocking shots, strong. I think there's a fight between him and Gus Johnson. Him and Gus Johnson used to battle. And Gus Johnson I think Wilt slammed Gus Johnson, separated shoulder. But I think Gus Johnson, because Gus Johnson was the one that invented stepping stuff, not just, really kind of stepping stuff. That's Gus Johnson. He died of cancer. He played with the Bullets with Earl Monroe. I think he was on the team when the Bullets played Kareem and Oscar, and they won. So, I peeped that Willis Reed death. Ironic, his death came after Julius Randle 57 performance in the Garden. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Wow. Yeah. So that was, we talked about that the other night. That very well can be so, because that is kind of how they do it. They do it that way. They definitely do it that way. The blood has to come first, and then, they line up the teams that build off that energy. And the Knicks are a team that it doesn't matter if they win or lose. They make money. I think they're the richest sports franchise in the world. And it's like every year, like something like 10 years in a row, they've been the richest, and they ain't won 10 years in a row. So that just tells you, the kind of backing they have. So, yeah. But yeah, I started watching Cleveland blowing out. Who did Cleveland blow out tonight? Trying to think, because it wasn't a very good game. So I started watching the Elvis stuff. So, but I got a lot of work done last night. Was working on the system, was working on everything else. So I got a lot, got a lot of work done. So it's kind of, getting there. Hey, OTF, how you doing? Today on being okay, went 4-0. Okay, that's outstanding. I don't think Edwards played. The Timberwolves had to be away because the gym was free. But But yeah, the Timberwolves played away, so I kind of vaguely saw who they're going to play. It's going to be interesting. Like the TV contracts with the baseball coming on is really going to be interesting. With Valley Sports declaring or their parent company declaring bankruptcy. So it's going to be real interesting with baseball to see if they go strictly to streaming. So that's something that's going to have to be considered. So we'll see if that's going, if that's, and most people aren't even going to be a lot of fans aren't even going to be interested in it like that. So that's another thing that they're going to have to deal with. So a lot of people are like, you don't give it to me free, because on the Saturdays usually baseball's free. Maybe Saturday, Sunday in the summer if they got 2 games, or even Friday. A lot of times they'll give free baseball like that. You don't have to have cable. But for March Madness, you got to have cable. They don't, you getting all your free games now, but if you notice, March Madness is straight up cable. Championship, semis, all that is straight up cable. What'd you have? You had Cavs -2. Okay, they covered. Hawks -13. Pelicans -8. And you had Sego over 31 points. Oh, okay. I still get the Clippers game on Bally. No, shoot, check this out. When the NBA channel shows games, it's on Bally. Who did I watch last night? I'm trying to think who I watched last night, because the game tonight. Yeah, the game tonight was even who did Cleveland play? I'm being old. I'm old man, but Cleveland was killing them. Trying to think who they played tonight. Probably should look it up, but yeah. And last night's game is on the NBA channel. It's on the NBA network, but it's a Bally game. So just to show you that they're still. So someone, last I heard, someone came in and bought them. And as we talked about the other day, keep our eye on Jordan. He's selling the majority ownership, which is day to day. I think he wants to step away from that and do the other pursuits. So that's something to keep our eye on too, because I think it's still around the 30 to 40%. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Something to keep our eye on, which is interesting. And then Jordan, how they're probably going to do is Jordan's going to give away that control, and then they're going to turn around and do well and make the playoffs, get a good pick. I mean, that's just probably how it's going to go. I mean, that's kind of, I would say, predictive programming there. If Jordan does give up ownership, and then it looks like there's going to be ownership. They are giving up the ownership in DC. We had one thing that said the Snyders, him and his wife, both moved out of their offices. So they're just waiting on that bread to clear, So that has to be a big hit, to have to walk away from a pro sports franchise. Because you would have never thought an inept son named Clay Ford, who the Ford family just wanted to get out the way, I think in 1950 something, did they pay $1 million? I don't know. I don't know if the Ford family paid $1 million for that team or not. I think they bought the team after the 2 championships of 54 and 55. But maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to look that up. And now it's worth $1 billion. Now it's like something that to get away from an inept relative. And now the Fords don't have full control of Ford Motors anymore, but yet the Ford family still has that kind of asset in their family. Something that they was really just trying to throw some money at, just to get rid of one of the weaker family members. Yes, we all wish we could have that little bit of money. Yeah, the money that these owners had to put in for these teams. I mean, Paul Brown is a prime example. If you look up the history of the NFL and you look up Paul Brown started another league. The Cleveland Browns, and I've said this before, San Francisco was a complete another league. And they won that league for a number of years. And then they turned around and they won the NFL when they came into for a number of years. But he was the case of owning a team and selling out too many shares. And then after you sell out so many shares of the team, it's not your team anymore. But he had still made enough money, because I think the AFL original buy-in, I think if we look back in the AFL, what Cincinnati had to pay, I think his original buy-in was like, and it maybe it was a mocking, because what they say the original buy-in of the NFL was $100. I think it was something like 1,000, no more than 10,000. I think they get a franchise. I want to say it was 1,000, but I don't think it was more than 10,000. And that can be easily researched, but I think it was under 10,000, or even if it was 100,000 buying, he had enough, and he copied everything about Cleveland, the colors and everything. If you look at the Bengals, the early Bengal colors, they're just like the other colors. That's how petty this dude was. A lot of them games are either on Apple TV or YouTube at TV free. No, that ain't true. Apple TV and YouTube, they dropped badly. They dropped badly. I got a Apple TV and it dropped badly because I don't get any of the wild hockey games, and I'm not gonna pay into Bally to their app when I know they're being sold out. So my subscription is going to be sold from one to the other. So to me, it didn't make sense to even pay to see the Wild if I've got to do all that and pay this company I know is dying. That's just stupid business. I'm not gonna support that because they're still trying to get people to sign up for it, So yeah, I know. No, but it was articles out that because I wondered why Apple TV or YouTube TV didn't have it, and that's why they dropped them. Oh, and maybe you're right about Apple TV, but I know on Dish Network or Dish TV, they dropped them too. Dish dropped them too. So maybe it was YouTube and Dish. They dropped them both. Because I've been following this, because it's effective here. And it's funny. I've touched on this, and I want to touch on this again. Like, we know we have. So I live where I live. I live about 60 miles from the nuclear plant. Maybe longer than that. It would take me about 55 minutes to get up there because it's almost the St. Cloud. Now I've said this before. Before the Lakota down here got their casinos, they used to put this nuclear waste on their lands. They did this for a number of years, and then once they got that casino money, they was able to stop them from doing this. But where I live, we are told not to drink the water. I mean, I've never broke out or anything, but we're told not to drink the water. And I live like I don't really live on the Mississippi River. I live closer to the Minnesota River. The Minnesota River goes into the Mississippi River. Downtown Minneapolis, or actually closer to St. Paul. Well, yeah, downtown Minneapolis, depending on what side you are on. That's where the Minnesota River runs into the Mississippi River. And that's where the mounds are, in St. Paul. So, but yeah, I don't drink the water here. And I have a filter, I got a couple filters on the water, my fridge water. I don't even drink my fridge water. I mean, everybody else, my fiance and my daughter, my sons, when they come over, they drink the ice. I'm not really an ice person. I don't even drink water cold. I drink water room temperature. Makes me special, y'all. Makes me special. But no, it's just, personal preference. So, but how's the weather everywhere? It's been decent here. I mean, it is springtime, and I'm sorry I didn't. That's on the 20th. I didn't talk about the equinox because that's an energy that comes in that people can, you can tune yourself on, and then because we'll have the summer equinox, the end of June when the days start becoming shorter again, and then we have the long days of May coming, where, I would do my shows years past, and 3-4 o'clock, I'd finish about 2:33, maybe lay down 3:30, 4, and I'd hear the birds like 4 o'clock. You'd hear the birds chirping. So yeah, we about to have the long days. The long days are going to be upon us. So hopefully, I know I'm just saying sometimes NBA games randomly broadcast or Apple out there. Okay, some days. But for whatever reason, it's raining every day out here in Cali, and it was usually never rains. We've had beautiful weather. I was able to wear my Jordans up in there where I was up in the ramp. When you go to Tiger Center, you ain't going outside. It's the ramps, So I knew I was going to be in the ramp. And so nice weather here. very nice weather here. We didn't do much afterwards. My fiance had to go to the Capitol and do some gangster shit. So she was at the Capitol this evening. So she had to go do some shit. So that's kind of why we didn't stay and do the other games. If she didn't have to do that. And then we took, her mother. And if they wouldn't have rolled with us, we probably would have stayed and watched all the games. So kind of didn't really do much. We got back fairly, we went there fairly early morning. I got done. I got about 4.5 hours of sleep, and I'm the kind of dude where I don't like. I have never been a snooze dude. I get up as soon as it's time to get up. I get up and go get it. I get up. So yeah. So. And the thing about when we can go outside, I mean, so many, we can become in tune with nature again, because it says a lot to ground. I mean, to be able to just really ground in the real earth is a real inspiring thing that everyone should do time for time again. Not just go to a beach and get in the water. I mean, sometimes really just, if you live, just the grass around you. Just the grass around you. And it's funny, like one thing about living in the cities, it's funny the way it is, and people won't even notice. It's like I've said this before, like when I was living in Prior Lake, less so here in Burnsville than Prior Lake, because Prior Lake is just sits on nothing but pink gravel. It's everywhere. I mean, down all this area, we are on glacier rock anywhere. It's basalt and everything down here. Anyway. So I've got a big piece of basalt over here. So people might think it's shell. It seems harder than shell. It seems more like basalt. But anyway, so pink granite really is one of the highest resonant stones, and it's everywhere down there. So that area is really high vibrational, especially when you're around the water. But I bring this up is Pomo made a video, and he was just going from Maywood to parts of Chicago. And even when me going from the suburbs going into proper Minneapolis, and even more so, even proper parts of St. Paul, because parts of St. Paul are older. Now I talk about Minneapolis not really having, if you looked at it, having a real hood, just the way it looks. But parts of St. Paul are more rundown. I'll say that it's older over there. So some of those areas, I've dated a couple of women over there. Some of those areas are really rougher. It is a little more rougher area, not as older and not kept up older. You know how that goes. So Tony said it never rains, but they didn't say nothing about it snowing. Yeah, well, it snows in the mountains in Northern California. Mountains up there in Northern California, if you know what I mean. So hopefully we're here. We're able to, this weather is going to go away, and be able to, touch base outside, do some things outside. Yeah. So that's what we're looking for. And so I'm gonna decide the next couple of days if I'm gonna go back down to the Target Center and go to the games. It's funny. This is a true story. It costs $15 a ticket to get into. It costs $15 a ticket to get into the high school games. Okay, $15 to see. You can see all 4 games over 15. To see 2 or 3 Big Ten games was $12. Because we had the Big Ten tournament here a couple of weeks ago at the Target Center. It was more expensive to go to the high school games than the Big Ten tournament games. Make that make sense. Yeah, the weather opposite out here. All of a sudden, Pontiac saying it's sunny when it's pouring where I'm at. Actually, it's raining here. It is raining now. I mean, hell, it's what shit. It's 109 here, so it's raining here now. But it ain't been raining here. It was nice all day, and they call for rain, and they call for snow tomorrow. And they called all that off. It's supposed to be in the 40s. So like at the games, I ain't take a coat. Most people is just in hoodies. Hoodies, long sleeve shirts. So yeah. Now it's funny. It's I'll tell you, and I'm gonna say this. It is funny how much Africans, the Somalian community here. We have the biggest Somalian community here. Roughly 40,000, I think, Somalians, something like that. Um, and it's funny how they don't get along with their other Somalians. And this is technically just one family. Now there's other Africans here, but technically the Somalians are all one family. But it was interesting at the game and instances of rowdiness. It was them. And I've said this before. You can look up old videos where these Somalian dudes they would just fuck with people. And the funniest one they did is the old man is riding his bike, and the old man, they push him down, and all the old man had to do is, when you're on a bike, you just open your legs and you'll stand up. No, he like keeps his feet on the pedal and falls over. And these are all Somalian dudes. So the shit is funny if that old video still exists. But it's just funny was looking at them in the game and just the way they were like, I don't know. The young people act like they were going to fight each other at the game. And it's like, why? Why? Like, why all this hate? Why all this posturing? Because there's a lot of posturing. There's different parts of them. But so it's interesting. It is interesting how they don't no Africans or black people at all where I'm at, unfortunately. Yeah, it is a lot of Somalians here. It is like I think the breakdown is in 3.5 million, it's 250,000 American, Indian, black folks, whatever you want to call us. There are, I think all the Africans total 60 to 80,000. I think there are 500,000 Hmong, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Hmong and the Vietnamese, Laotians, but Hmong mostly, I think there's something like 600,000, because there's parts of St. Paul that's just them. And then the Europeans are the other 2.8 million. And just, most of the population of this state is in this area. Actually, in some ways, Rochester and St. Cloud could also be suburbs, because if they're about to run a train to St. Cloud, which is more like northwest, kind of more north, but kind of northwest. And the train does go to, I think it's Lake Forest, which is almost out. That is, I don't know how long that far that is for me, but it's somewhere I could go park and take a train up there. So our trains are about to reach. Right now, from St. Paul to Minneapolis, you can take trains. And then the nearest train they're building near me is going to be in Eden Prairie. It's almost done. See, Hopkins, they're in the Hopkins right now. That's where the train is almost finished. And it's going, so in the future, I won't even have, like right now, I'd have to go to the mall. If I didn't want to drive downtown, I could just go to the Mall of America, park, take the train downtown, go to the game like that, and just park at the Mall of America and take the same way back. But now I just go a little closer. Well, I don't know. I don't know if Eden Prairie is that much closer, because the Mall of America is not too far from where I live, or the airport for that matter. Seems like I'm at the airport every other week. I'm at the airport when I stop to go get somebody, and I don't work or nothing. This ain't, I ain't Ubering shit. It's just family and friends coming in. It's like, it seems like I'm the one that goes to the airport to get somebody. People out there, the sky cabs, they all know. It's like, oh man, that dude looked just like you. When he got here, I knew that had to be somebody for you. I am always at the airport. Yeah, they're very tribish. They're very tribish. That's why the whole lie of African Americans is such a lie, unless you're talking about South Africans. But trying to say, the people that was here, very tribalish, very tribalish. If you looked at, like, remember Black Hawks Down? If you looked at Black Hawks Down, again, it was like these tribes was fighting each other, and then the tribes, the tribe that won was the tribe that the CIA backed one family, and they lost. And then they started killing the family. And I talked about this before. It's the same thing they did in Vietnam. They started killing all the enemies. That's why they brought out a Hmong here. Because, rightly so. You have a country, and your fellow man is working for the invaders. What do? Is that right or wrong? These people were traitors to you. So they started killing them. And that's why the Hmong were here. And the same thing with the Somalians. But yeah, you meet them, they're very Christian. I dated a nice African girl, very Christian. I ain't have no problem with her, her religion or nothing, but very, very, very Christian. Very Christian. Africans are the most Christian people on earth, I think. I think they're the most Christians now. It's African people in Africa. But yeah, they're very tribalish. The ones at least that I know here, and I know several people, and they're very, very tribalish. So no, the ones I see don't like each other. But the ones the ones at the gang, they all the same people, pretty much. They just live in different areas, but they're pretty much the same family. Oh, hey, Jesus, good to see you. Yeah, so that's what I've seen. Now, one thing I've said before is the Asian people that live here bind pretty tight. They drive the same cars. They have used car dealerships of nothing but Audis, Hondas. One is in the hood, and they won't come out there and talk to you. But this is all they sell. They sell just Asian cars. I had a family that I lived that lived next to me, and they had the great grandparents, the parents. They had like 4 generations in there, if not 5. And the house wasn't any bigger. I think that house we lived in like a 4-level. I had like maybe 3,300 square feet in that house. So it was like a 4-level house. And their house wasn't quite as big, but it was still, they probably still had close to 3,000 feet themselves. If not 2,800 square feet. So still a pretty significant house. And all them people lived up in that house with them. So, and they partied. I mean, they always partied and brought extra food and stuff. Really cool. They had like stoves in their garage. Not like one, they had stoves. And they would cook them big parties and pull out tables and shit. 4th of July, we'd blow up shit in the streets. Yeah, it was really cool. Cool people. But yeah, they all live together. Now here, I've said this before, here the Latino Hispanic community, like where Floyd happened on Lake Street, that is one of the areas where it goes like different community as you go down Lake Street. It goes from one community to the next. Matter of fact, there's part of Lake Street that where American Indians live. And then it's a part of Lake Street where brothers and sisters live. And there's part of Lake Street where Africans live. And there's part of Lake Street where Latinos and Mexican people live. So the pockets here aren't really like all that, hardly at all here. Off the top of my head, I couldn't really tell you where it's like they have neighborhoods because it's not really, other than the south side. Not so much on the north side, but still, pockets, you'll see the people, but not big pockets. So yeah, not overly. But up north, they're starting to fill in that population that needs the dairy, the dairy industry. And so, the people are being smart about that. They're being very smart about that, the dairy industry. So, and that's what you do. That's an adaptation. If mankind, like our industrialization kind of ceased, one thing that we would probably see is we would probably see the pigs take over in some instances. We probably would. We would probably see them take over in some instances. That wouldn't surprise me. I'm just looking at the numbers of the populations of the different places, and how quick nature can take over and how quick they can. And mice is another thing. As man moves out and these structures are still here, these other things can use these structures. I mean, I hear Nick talk about the feral population in Texas and in other states. Just makes me wonder. It just makes me wonder. because that's what happens. One species leaves another species, and we know nature would retake over. That's why I say, the first one of the first fight is they destroy nature. I mean, just as much as when the European settlers came over and destroyed the people, they also destroyed nature. And it's no telling, the type of like even trees, it's no telling what type of trees lived here, as the trees were once a thing. I mean, do you guys ever dig that the two oldest organisms on Earth are one single thing, or two of the, like there's a tree in Utah that is a single organism that has cloned itself millions of times. Millions of times. It's almost on a hill. Then there's another organism that is a type of fungus that has done the same thing. It has cloned itself for thousands of acres. They all live together. Same with Hispanics. Okay. Yeah, there's tons of Asian folks here. Yeah, there's big Asian communities here, mostly in St. Paul. And of course, restaurants, whole families, put effort into the restaurants. So, what am I time like? Oh, okay. I wasn't gonna go terribly long tonight, but just really wanted to share about the games and stuff tonight. It was just so, I so much. I don't know. I just so much enjoy the games. It's kind of sad, not being able to go to the games. It's kind of a sad thing. So I'm gonna miss it. But for my nephew, it's his a different journey comes, and that's what goes on. It's like you do this as far as you can take it, and if he's lucky to go to college or not, whatever the journey. If you just play college, you don't play college basketball, and just go to college or start working. I mean, it's just a different journey. This was just a journey. And people don't, you don't have to peak in high school. Yeah, I'm going to try to put together a series about a guy. And I know I'll spoil it talking about him, but it's like this one guy peaked in 10th grade. He really did. And not to say he wasn't great afterwards, because he really was. He was great for far as he could be great. But far as having everything work for him, it never got better for him after 10th grade. Isn't that sad? And in 10th grade, he might have been the best 10th grader in the nation. 10th grade, he was 6'4", probably 6'4", 210. Probably had a 35, 37-inch vertical. And that was the best of his life. And that's sad. That's sad. Because some of the things that poverty led him to, bad luck. So that goes with it, into timing. But isn't that sad? Someone to peak then. And another story reminds me, it's like the guy I played ball with in 5th grade. When when I was in 5th grade, this dude was in 6th, but this dude was probably supposed to be in 8th grade. So he was, he was 8th grade size. But this dude never got any bigger. He never got any bigger. The same height, is like everybody got bigger. He never got bigger. Eddie B. Stokes. Eddie B. You going to any Twins or Sox games when the season starts? Oh yeah, I'll go to some Twins games. Yeah. Yeah, Twins, and we go see the St. Paul Saints. Yeah, because I want to go see the Saints because the Saints are going to use the computer umpires. This is the first full season of computer umpires, and the Saints are going to use the computer umpires. So I'm looking forward to going to a few of those games. Man, it's a nice stadium, good food, beer. Oh yeah, the Saints. But yeah, I'm going to. Last summer I didn't, but this summer, yeah, I'm definitely going to see. Because matter of fact, this a couple weeks coming up. The weather breaks. Yeah, take an afternoon, go up there. Yeah, I enjoy that. So yeah, that's to me when the summertime. That's a great day. Go to a baseball game, like especially when they have the night games. That's just so fun to go to a beautiful night game and sit out there and eat. It's not a rush. It's like you can just take your time. When you go to the bathroom, the bathroom line ain't full for the women because football games, basketball games, the women lines be crazy. Men can just go in and out, but the women lines be crazy where they be standing because they got to do more. Men be like assembly line. Psh, move on, wash your hands. Psh, move on, wash your hands. But yeah, the Sox. Yeah, the Sox is in Chicago. So I don't know because technically I could go see Sox or the Brewers too. Brewers would be closer to me than the Sox would be, but they on the way because I'm only about 5-6 hours from Chicago. Well, about 5-6 hours from Chicago, Milwaukee. Yeah, not that far. Hopefully, as I said before, hopefully be going to Chicago. Got to see when I work it out. And yeah, try to do some work down there. Yeah. So hopefully, you try things, and you think, you got it all together, and then something comes in and you have to change. And so you just change with it. That's all. You try it and you say, okay, you put your intentions into it and you try to manifest it as best you can. And sometimes you're good at manifesting and sometimes, you don't manifest as much. It's like some kind of little things. And I've talked about this before. It's like sometimes little things you like the way family magic goes. The way family magic goes. And this isn't a curse on your family or anything. It's just like sometimes like if you made yourself, you just say the way people would say it would be Big Mama. And so you just have this Big Mama that has all these branches off of her. And so in a lot of ways, so many different parts of her is torn away, but it's the same part of her. And I guess my point about it is just the way sometimes she would take hits, especially doing magic. Sometimes it doesn't just have to be, I just use the woman as an example. It can be a man, but sometimes you take hits. Okay, this is one way I can put it to try to understand. Sometimes when you drive, when you do your magic, and then you see other people get pulled over, sometimes that person got pulled over instead of you. If you understand sometimes how magic goes. And if you really need to use your magic, sometimes that's what it takes for you to be successful in your magic. It's like it'll deflect off you and someone else will get it. And sometimes that's good though for your family. Where you absorb a hit, especially a spiritual hit, for the safety of your family. And I can't really tell you how I apply it because it can be applied to anybody else. It can be different. So consider that when things happen upon you, consider like, okay, what ripple does this make? What ripple did this make in everything we doing? Because sometimes I look at some things, and one thing I was fighting a force. One time, I'll say this a little bit, is like I was fighting a force. But in fighting that force, I learned something else. I thought like, okay, if I take this blow, it's okay. Because this is going to put a blanket over everything else that I cover. And I work my magic on. And I'm able to take the blow without really any repercussions. It's just, okay, I'll take it for now. So you as parents, you as family, loved ones, understand that. with magic, how that magic can work, how something might, I don't know. It's just like you might have to absorb something to put out a row of protection sometimes. Because it is give and take, it is give and take. So I just wanted to get that out there. Yeah, I go to games, my food delivered. I don't wait in those lines. I get my food delivered. uh, it's funny, the Target Center has good food. They have really good food, but they weren't serving any beer. Maybe they served beer at night, but they weren't serving any beer. I was kind of surprised. Mm. Oh, and man, they had, oh my goodness, PJ had asked about a warm up they had in there, and they still got those warm ups in there. I was kind of too far away to see what brand they were, but they had a couple winter coats in there that was probably be on sale. So, and that place is generally open, but they were closed. So maybe because the timber was played, but you would think something like that would be open, or maybe they didn't want to deal with stealing because so many people would be there. But there used to be crowds, so I don't know. I don't know why the shop was closed. I don't really know. What are we at? 105. Okay. And it is 1:30 in the morning. Yeah, I don't have a lot to do tomorrow. I didn't have a whole lot to say tonight. Um, but yeah, it was interesting getting everything, and I'm still, fixing everything, but still learning. It's a lot I need to learn. It's a lot I need to learn. And so I'm slowly learning, slowly. Trying to bring things to give people something to think about in this crazy, chaotic world of so many distractions, so many people trying to give out the wrong information on purpose, so many people that just want a vampire off you one way or another. And so for these unseen ways, people have to have seen ways of how to cope. Oh, I gave this one. I can give this one out. It's a grounding sound. And hum. This is for the lower body, because everything is vibrational. We are vibrational beings. Consciousness has a vibration to it. I mean, that's why you can leave. When you leave your body, you take your consciousness with you, because your consciousness can vibrate. Your consciousness can vibrate very high. I mean, that's what all this, this meditation and all this work and cleansing your area. I mean, it's to help your consciousness, to take your consciousness further than what you're taking it. So that's, as I've said, I've had my big singing bowl, and I've hit that singing bowl, and the singing bowl has literally pushed me out of my body, where I wasn't even trying to go out of my body, but it hit something that literally just, what was it on Doctor Strange, when the ancient one hit him in his chest and it knocked him out of his body. It kind of hit me like that. I mean, not of attack, but it was just like the vibe. It was like really a note played so hard. It was like my consciousness like grabbed the note and just moved me out of my body. It was literally like that. And I'm like, whoa. And so that's what, they say what's ancient about you, what's the most unique about you is and why they do so many things to try to destroy consciousness, is because consciousness is the most ancient part of you is your conscious self. Because your conscious self can touch, your old selves and your future selves. That is, that's what's stronger than the internet. And that is what the internet can't give you back, what your consciousness can give you. And they tell you all these stories that these people want to live forever and put these chips in them so they can keep their memories. But really, you don't want to live in this thing forever, because you can take your consciousness beyond this. And that's what they know. They know you can. I mean, they've studied this thing for a long time. they've seeked how people have done everything, and then they do what they try to do. They try to repeat. And that's what this beast, that's what the Mai is. It's, if I didn't invent it, I try to repeat it, at least recreate it. Like when they made the tanks, one person made it, all of them could make it. And even I was looking at a thing where, they found in Turkey the oldest swords. Like, why that area did that technology come out? And that's how slow, the Maya is that slow. It is so slow that it'll give you this first killing implement and hope that you catch on to how to make a better killing implement. Because they just can't push it all in there all at once. The Bucks look good. Yeah, I bring in my blunts and ACL for the Dodgers game. That's funny. That's funny. OTF. Bucks look good. I'm trying to think. Golly, who played that game tonight against Cleveland? Who did Cleveland beat tonight? Basketball. Oh, the phone's stuck on stupid. I guess I don't care that much about it. NBA scores. It's a new day. New day today. Oh, here we go. Cleveland beat Brooklyn. Yeah, because Sims didn't play. Yeah, Cleveland beat the Nets. Sims didn't play. Yeah, that's the game I watched. Yeah, Sims didn't play. Ben Simmons. Ben didn't play. Yeah. A Nation Robinson. Thank you. Yeah, they beat him. Nets fell 39, 33 in gematria. New York equals 39, 33. Wow, good work. Thank you, A Nation. A Nate Robinson. Thank you. Yeah, at the Dodgers games, they let you bring in water bottles. I put Zangles in mine. Okay, that is smooth. I like edibles. They don't, that's you can take that into any of the games. You just put it in plastic and because I didn't get very much sleep, so I took a strong edible and then I took a couple, average ones. But by the end of the game, even though my nephew's team was losing, I was feeling very spirited. I was feeling into it, man. I was feeling it. I was enjoying it. It was like, yeah. So, and that's the good thing about that. That you can be in the state of mind you want to be in. So, I guess that's good and bad at the same time. Because it's funny, brothers, like now, what's funny is when you see black folks, they smoke the way, like, it's interesting. It's like almost they replaced the cigarettes. Because the way everybody used to smoke cigarettes now, a bunch of black folks around, instead of cigarettes, they all smoke blunts. But if you look at it, the mental is the same thing if you look at it. Where everybody used to just smoke cigarettes, now everybody smoke. It's the same kind of smoking. I mean, yes, it's different. It affects your body different, but it's that same. I don't know, something. The sameness as the cigarettes was that thing. So, yeah, I took some gummies. Yeah, I took a gummy at 8:00, and it's still, what is it, 140? Yeah, it is still has me on the verge of getting it on. So that's what I like about it. The smoking is so harsh. It is so harsh. But hopefully I'll have some more wax in a couple of days. Yeah, I can get flour, but it ain't really my thing. Because usually I get flour, I turn it into hash, then smoke the hash in the water pipe. But really, the, the blunts ain't for me. Back when they was in style, it really wasn't for me because I just didn't really like. I like sucking on cigars. I just like that cigar. I never liked the combination of the weed. And then my best friend, was my hustling partner. He was, he would put cocaine like crack with the weed in the blunt. In Battle Creek, they called it Swifties, and that was his thing. He was known to date a crack whore or two, or even a chicken head or two. So that was kind of his thing. Or as he would say, you want to go hang out with some hood rats. I was like, not necessarily, but we had some business to do. If that's a cool place for us to meet, I'll meet you over there. And it's funny. My friends don't really dress the way I dress, and so I dress like the way I've always dressed. I dress. So I come in there dressed, and these young girls are like just. They're looking at me. They're looking at him because he don't dress like I'm dressed, and I'm sitting in this place like I am dressed too well for even their place. So, and I mean, and he would always try to set me up. These women be like in their early 20s. Like, nah, bro, that's your thing. That ain't my thing. I didn't come over here for that. But he'd like still want to hang and kick it. For some reason, he would like me to hang and kick it with him. And what do all Black folks have in common? What do we have in common that we all can get along and do? That we all know how to do? What's one thing we can do? Well, we can drink together, we can smoke together, and play cards. Play cards. Play cards with some simple people, get them high, and not even, just they smoke weed with them, drink, buy them some, some liquor, bottle or beer, and you can just hang with people. You can just hang with people and have a good time with people. So, oh, that's good. You can press it. Yeah, I can press out my own hash. Yeah. I tend to not want to because I like wax better. Wax or shatter, whatever they have is because that the fake stuff of that ain't good. It ain't as good. Don't taste the same. It is not as good. The edibles are way more. Even the smoking ain't as good as the edibles. The edibles is the way to go. And they're passing the laws here. See my magic wand. The old tree where I used to live gave it to me as a gift. I've been saying I'm gonna put crystals on it for years, but I haven't done nothing. But still, ain't that Harry Potter do it? See, even them try to tell you, because they couldn't say they had to do it movement. It was like a gun. You had to move it, motion. You had to create motion to make it work, and it had to be in tune with you. You had to be in tune with this thing. Like the Monkey King is a story much older than witches and brooms, and the Monkey King could fly in a staff. So it makes you wonder if the women, the witches flying on brooms is a copy from the Monkey King being able to fly on a staff. Oops. But we know, people have had different abilities and different ways of levitation. Oops. Always been that. So, well, I don't think I'm gonna go too much longer. I don't want to really do a 2-hour show tonight, but I do want to give everybody a standing ovation for what coming to me. And partying with me tonight. Goddess looks dominant this year. I think Bucks can take it all again. I don't know. It seems like injuries kept catching up with him, and without the guard, what's his name, 22 Middleton. Without Middleton's still struggling. He's still struggling with his health. But I watched him play, and then Goddess didn't even play what I saw him play last week, and he didn't even play the game I saw last week. So I don't know that. I don't know if they're going to be healthy enough. We'll see if they're healthy enough. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to still gauge as we get a little closer and we see, where they line everybody up. But what script is the best right now? I think the Knicks script is probably the best. You know, with Willis Reed, as we were talking about, we started Willis Reed. I mean, that is going to play in there somewhere. And then we, you know, of course, the Bill Russell dying. So, you know, Boston is going to be prevalent, and it's trying to figure out, you know, whose sacrifice are they looking to make go further? Because remember, Boston was in it last year. So with Bill Russell dying, or is this the year where they're going to, you know, let New York back in? And it could be the year where, you know, New York loses the East, and then next year maybe perhaps they let them go through. So it's kind of hard to see, kind of you know, see what the way they'll play this. But that's the Knicks script with Willis Reed dying. I was really surprised because Willis Reed is younger than my mother. Yeah, Knicks in Boston. So yeah, that might be you know, the way we see it. I know a lot of people were saying the gematria is in there for the gematria is in there for Philadelphia, but I think it's, if you look at the sacrifices, though, the sacrifices are greater, I think, with Boston and the Knicks. So we'll see how this plays out. But that's one thing that I think that's very possible. It's very possible to happen. So we'll see how it goes. What time is it? Oh, but I do want to have a little more fun. Some of this stuff is just so fun to me and funny. See if I can give you guys a little of this. Oh, okay. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Here we go. I just think this shit is funny as hell. Gematria enough to say playoff Harden. Gematria enough to say playoff Harden. That is funny. That is so funny. Knicks and Celtics, East would draw some viewers. Yeah. Knicks, yeah. It would draw hell of viewers. Hell of viewers, yeah. And letting one of them go through this year. Because I don't think they're going to let Golden State go through. I think Golden State is still, you know, struggling. Still struggling with injuries. You know, Steph got hurt again last night, bumped knees or something last night. Was coming off a pick and bumped knees, so something kind of still going on with him. So not sure, but yeah, I think that would draw a lot of fans. Still, it's kind of seeing what the West is going to do. I don't know. You know, they're going to let the Joker ever go through. I don't know. I don't know if they would let him go through. It would surprise me if they did. Golden State is trash this year. Can't win on the road. Yeah. They cannot win on the road. I agree. You know, holding this mic. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. But if I see you hanging around with anyone, it's not unusual to see me cry. I want to die. Square, the garden, be up in the garden. It used to be the basketball mecca. Somebody mentioned here about these hoopers here. I'm telling you, it's hoopers here. It's interesting the amount of basketball that's here. Like my nephew is only going to be off for a couple of weeks, and he's going to start playing AAU. Because you can play AAU up until you're 19, because it's 19 and under. So to whatever school, because he's getting looked at a college in South Dakota. His parents can pay for him to go to they made the tournament. Is it what is it, Arizona? No, what is that in Arizona? They made the tournament. That small college that's always on the commercial, but we might be going there in August. Or no, April. Maybe next month, go there. because he wants to go look at that college. I can't quite think of the name of it. So, Nuggets defense is horrible. I can see Jordan getting exposed in the playoffs, but who knows? Top dog. I got Boston, Bucks, and Suns. And after that 3-game shaming of the Suns, I mean, maybe that's what that was, a 3-game shaming. It almost looked like it was about to lose their 4th game. So, and then still no Durant. And I still think he's been damaged goods since he hurt his Achilles. He's been damaged goods. So, I don't know that he's going to have the impact. I don't know if he's going to have the impact when he does come back. I mean, what is his strength going to be like? It's going to take him a minute, to get it together. So we'll see. We'll see. And as I get tired of talking about Aaron Rodgers. Like, why do people care? Why do people care about Aaron Rodgers? And then they want Aaron Rodgers to do the same damn thing. Do the same damn thing that Brett Favre did. I mean, I don't see that kind of interest. I don't see why that interest is so great. Like, it makes no sense to me. It's like a mocking to everybody. Look what we're going to do it again. We're going to send another Green Bay Packer great to New York. Why? Why would it be the same? What are the odds? What are the odds that 2 long-term players go to the same place? From the same place. It just shows you it's a script. I'm doing the Carlton dance as I'm singing that song. Yes, for real. Oh, yeah. Shit, Tom Jones used to have a TV show back when I think I was in 3rd grade. Used to watch. He used to go with Mary Wilson. Y'all remember that? Tom Jones used to mac on Mary Wilson. Probably get rid of all the weirdos from Motown. What Smokey Robinson say? You really got a hold on me. I don't like you, but I love you. What is it like? I don't want to see you, but I want to be with you. Don't want to go because you make me mad. You make me sad. But you also make me glad because you really got a hold on me. Y'all know there's something about old Smokey songs. Smokey was with Smokey and the Miracles. One of the Miracles was his ex-wife. Y'all ever peep that? And I know it's old history, old, black history group. But if you listen to some of his oldest songs, he's singing. There's a woman's voice in there that really went well with his voice. Because when you hear that it's that the repeat, the say and repeat, the call and response, And when he goes, you really got a hold on me, they echo it behind of him. You can hear her voice. More Love. I think she's in More Love too, which is probably my favorite Miracle song is More Love. Let it be seen, don't hesitate. I mean, the way the song builds up. And that's romance, the way you want to build romance up. More Love is that song. It's the way the romance builds up. And that's, that's More Love. And that's, that love music, that kind of vibration. Get Up this morning and they talked about what are the odds of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I've been saying it for a week now. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's, they see the mocking too. And sometimes what people don't understand is we, the regular people, they copy off of us too. Because Trump definitely used the way we was talking in the streets. Fake news was a thing that I don't even know what community you want to say, but it was like that was something that people were saying before Trump was in there. 14, 15 people were talking about fake news before he became president. And so they copy off of us too. They watch us. They flunkies watch us. They use our shit. I still crack up every time I hear somebody say crispy. That was last year's word. But it's like, I was like, that's one of my spells. That's one of my spells. So I still kind of laugh. Hey, Liquid Fire, thank you for joining me. At 1:55 a.m. There's energy in the mornings. And I know Forerunner probably He's probably sitting like, man, you know everything. The way the system gives you the download and stuff. You're supposed to be asleep, let your biorhythms, but some people want to come up and philosophize. Self-heal by philosopher and teacher, the philosopher king. You know, you can only pin up the God so long before the God has something to say and want to teach and give. So that's kind of why, I don't know, I've kind of picked these times. Because I think it works for me. Oh, man, this blue light is really got my background popping. My picture there is really, and I need to go get this hammer nails, and God, there's still so much to do. But cleaned up a lot of stuff. I don't know if you can see this is where all my Virgin stuff is, my singing bowls. And then that up there is my altar. See, I've had a representation of Mu, which is through Hathor. Jimi Hendrix is in my cave with the Universal Music. I don't know, this is him, Sunflake's Flower, the Great Bacall. The Great Bacall. Kanich, was it Janine Kanich? So, then I have the Wrestler, Omeka Cabeza. So these are the energies. Speaking of mockery, did you see the video of Odell Beckham doing some one-hand catches? He's the reason why one-hand catches aren't spectacular. Yeah, they're common. They're pretty common, and it's every time we know that what they're doing, and we've shown it. We've proved that it's technology that helps this kind of stuff. I often mention an old NFL article, or excuse me, old Sports Illustrated article that talked about, and this was an article from probably the mid 90s, because I used to get them, I got them for years. And it talked about how the game would evolve. And I would just say that is one thing. Now I think back about that article, that's the only thing that really has went forward of all the technology, is the technology that they talked about, the gloves having some kind of attraction to them that would help you catch better. Because they've outlawed the basketball shoes that make you jump higher, because there's shoes you can buy that's proven if you wear them you can jump a little higher. This ain't just new shoes, but the shoe will give you a little more. You already know the shoes you can get to make you taller, and so the shoes you can get to make you taller and make you jump a little higher. So, but they talked about having a type of spring in the shoe where you could really jump high. But if you could jump high, somebody could undercut you high too. So. But it seems like the one thing that has advanced the most is the football and the gloves. But the one thing that, see, knee injuries used to be the downfall of NFL, was knee injuries. Gale Sayers is probably the poster child of, knee injuries, a limited career. But now it's the long-term effects of the head injuries. Now, I don't know, people ask me what the Canadians, I've heard a couple Canadians had issues, but overall I don't think so. The wider field, longer field. Have you had hash resin? Yeah, I've had hash resin too. I've had that too. Yes. I've had stuff that take you beyond, but yeah, I had that too. But right now it's just gummies. Gummies to blow my mind. Gummies to blow my mind. Every time. But to help tune as well. And I'll say this, I drank a couple beers this weekend. I'm still feeling that shit off what I drank this weekend. Isn't that crazy? 2-3 days later. So that's why I'm glad I kind of, cut down on the drinking. that I can drink something and I'm still feeling it. Like I drank one beer Sunday, one beer, and I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling it like yesterday. Still a little bit in my system today. One beer. So kind of glad I've got a little more disciplined. Nobody's perfect and it's hard. So many triggers to, watching sports, drinking beer, going to a game, drinking beer, going to a movie, drinking beer. So, and the substitute is water. The substitute is water. That's the substitute, but that's all right. I got enough discipline for both. Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna cut it, and I want to leave y'all. I want to leave y'all with a little humor. No, catch this. So you collectivize. You got to collectivize. You got to have vision to watch the Chocolate Mountain Show with Big Pontiac. Thank you for watching. And I will be back soon. So look for me around the midnight hour. I might do a show laying on my back. Might be, just like fell out or something. Like, hey, the show must go on. Put the mic down here on the floor. I'm on the floor. Because they say real thugs get down on the floor. But this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your host. Thank you guys for coming to see me. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Till we meet again. Say less, everybody.